Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Monday morning. It's the 10th of August, 2020. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the show. Listen, guys, America, is a very special place. I learned that just when I was a little kid, and I was only like 5 years old, and I moved to America. To the United States of America, to Florida. And I learned it was a very special place. It's unique in all the world. There's no place like America, you know. And it's for ages. It's been a bastion for freedom and democracy and human expression and I could go on talking about America and what it actually means. But it's also unique. It's unique in the world as a country that the citizens have the means and whereby to defend themselves and to defend their country. America has, especially out in the country, is well armed. Let me tell you what. Any country that's planning on invading America better take that into consideration. Okay, but on the other hand of this, on the other side of this coin, America's on the brink right now, quite seriously. And it makes me cry to see what's going on in America right now. Let's turn the charts on. Let's right here and take a look at what's going on. Chicago, right now is being rocked by widespread looting and the whole thing is escalating. The cities in America right now, they're having a very hard time. Now, there's a lot of talk about a shift, SHFT disaster that could occur. And, what's setting up right now in America is not for a SHFT disaster to be everywhere in America, but possibly in the cities. There's a danger of that, especially in the larger cities. And that's why I say America is on the brink right now. Because this disease that swept through America has put us into a position where the people are like right now, they've reached the limit of what they're willing to take on just about anything. They've the old saying, you've been pushed up against the wall. Americans feel right now like they've been pushed up against the wall, but if you go out to the rural communities, some of them are everything seems relatively normal, while you have craziness going on within the city and urban centers. This could escalate to other cities and escalate out of control, and it is a danger right now because this virus has been sweeping through America, and it's just been basically the virus has been terrorizing America. We've never seen anything like this before in the history. I can't remember anything in my lifetime that's even approached like what we've been through. We've been through a really hard time in the past 6 months. All of America, including Canada, we've been through a hard time too. And it's something that only comes along once in a lifetime, I suppose. Maybe once in every... I don't think we've been through anything that's this bad since the Great Depression era. And so right now America's on the brink. We have violence erupting in the cities, and, they've been looting stores such as Nordstrom, Wall Street, Walgreens, and Macy's. They've been looting these stores. It says 13 officers hurt in the unrest. A sergeant got struck in the face with a bottle. This is a dangerous situation. We're going to have to keep our eye on it here on the channel, but I'm going to move into the markets now, and I'm going to talk about what's going on with the different prices of things. First off, we're going to take a look at the silver price, the gold price today. 2037, it's up $2.40. It was up a bit more. We had a little pop in the price, I hate to tell you guys this. Well, maybe I like telling you guys this. I just don't know. But here's the thing, guys. Everybody's talking about price correction in gold and silver. We might be seeing it right now. This might be as good as it gets. Now, there's a percentage chance that this is as good as it's going to get as far as price correction is concerned. It all depends on what the Fed does in the upcoming months. The Fed now has a mandate for 2% inflation. The thing is the general economy is not planning on giving them their 2% inflation. So how much will does the Fed have to pump money into the system? This is all dependent on what the price of gold and silver does. And the way I see it, if they want to keep everything running, they want to keep their financial system running, they're going to have to keep pumping money. And it's a never-ending pump of money. And ultimately, this is going to come at the expense of the dollar, and gold and silver are ultimately going to go up. So, gold and silver's moved a tremendously long way in a very short period of time. And so, whenever you see a market do that, you always sit back and you expect a correction. But I don't know. We've had little correction. I mean, gold was up over $2,060, and now it's $2,037. This might be all we get. Maybe. I don't know. We might get a little bit more, but don't really hold your breath absolutely counting on a big correction down to 1,800 or anything like that. Don't hold your breath, It's best if you don't have any gold and silver right now, start thinking about cost averaging. That's what to think about. Think about cost averaging. Think about buying and cost averaging, because that's the best way to do it, and to build up a little something for yourself, Because one of the big things about it is something called counterparty risk, and this is one of the biggest reasons why you want to hold gold or silver in your hand, in your possession. Because all of the financial assets out there in the system right now all have what's called counterparty risk, meaning basically the company or whatever where you hold your cash, or wherever not cash, but where you hold your money, your bank account, whatever, they could close, never open again in times like these. Then what are you going to do for money? It might be just something as simple as your bank. One morning you wake up, you got to go into your bank, and there's chains wrapped around the door and a big sign that says this bank's closed. And, you can't even contact anybody to find out what happened. And your money's just gone. If you had all your eggs in one basket at your bank, and now your bank's closed, and you got to go through some lengthy things of phoning people, and the phone lines are dead, and you can't get a hold of this person, or can't get a hold of that person, or they put you on hold, or there's answering machines, and it goes on and on. You're trying just to get money to live, because that was the only bank account you have, and suddenly you don't have any money because the bank just goes bust. Banks are going to start going bust, This situation, as it escalates, as the general economy gets worse and worse, soon banks are going to start to go under, especially the smaller banks, credit unions, and things like that. And if you don't have any money outside the system that you can hold in your hand, you might go hungry. It's things to think about, Anyway, let's move on today. We got a silver price of $28.95. Silver's up a little bit better than gold today. We're going to take a look at cryptocurrency now. And we're looking at a price of $263 billion, 60.5% Bitcoin dominance. With a Bitcoin price, is it covered? Of $11,925, almost $12,000. Bitcoin's doing good. The Bitcoin dominance is fairly low right now, with a Bitcoin price of $11,925. Means that I probably see Bitcoin breaking through 12,000 pretty soon. And if cryptocurrency is your thing, there's the same thing to do. Do cost averaging when you buy it. Just kind of like buy the dips, even if they're small dips, try to get especially if you haven't got any. If you haven't got any crypto and you haven't got any gold or any silver, it's time to start thinking about that. Start thinking about counterparty risk. Dow Jones Industrial average today, 27,686. It's up 252 points on the day. There's no end to how high the market can go, as long as the Fed keeps pumping out money. But heaven forbid what would happen if the Fed stops. If the Fed stops, we're all toast. There would be no real bottom to these markets if the Fed hauled away all support. There'd be no bid. It's just, that's what it would be. Okay, crude oil today, 41.93. It's up 0.71 or 1.72% on the day for crude oil. U.S. Treasuries today. We're looking at a mixed bag. Middle of the yield curve is rising, while the short end and the long end and short end are rising, while the middle of the yield curve is falling. And it's not big movements. It's only 1.5 basis points on the 30-year. A 30-year at 1.24 and a U.S. 10-year at 0.56. U.S. dollar index today, 32.42, and dollars going along sideways today. 93.42, and the dollar's going sideways. This is a rapidly evolving situation now that we're getting into this period where people are going to start to get foreclosed on. Going to have to wait to see what happens there. But you know what it's starting to look like to me? Overall? It looks like that this crisis with the virus and everything has taken us to the brink. The whole world to the brink. But it looks like just by the skin of our teeth, we are managing to hang on and keep a certain amount of normalcy. Normal. A certain amount of normal. It's like a new normal, but it's a certain amount of normal. It's a certain amount of order and that's keeping everything running through it. And I'm a little bit amazed. The system is more resilient than I thought it was. A blow like this has been a tremendous blow to the system. If this is like a kind of a blow when a building gets hit with a giant wrecking ball, right? And the side it comes down, wham, and hits the side of the building really hard, and the whole building shudders. That's the kind of blow this has been to the system. But the system hasn't collapsed completely. It's still functioning. And it's more resilient. The system is more resilient. I mean, you can only test and see how resilient something is in a real world scenario when you see something actually happen that tests its resilience. Well, for me, watching this whole thing unfold has been a test for the system's resilience. And the system is actually more resilient than I thought it is, than I thought it was 6 months ago. I'm a little bit amazed that the system can actually hold together as good as it's held together with this kind of a blow, this pandemic. This is a terrible, terrible blow to the system. But we're holding together. We're doing good. And, I think that right now we're just about probably at the peak or close to the peak of this thing, close to the peak of the second wave, of it coming through. And things might start to get better pretty soon, there might be less cases. Cases might start to drop off, and people might start to get less fear, and there might be more spending, and people might start to travel a little bit more, but carefully, wearing their mask and everything else. Things might start to pick up a little bit, from where they were. Even though we do still have problems like rioting going on in Chicago and everything, it's looking more to me a little bit less dire than it was 2 or 3 months ago, the situation. But this has taken us to the brink, honest to gosh, and we are still at the brink. We're still staring down into the precipice of craziness or crazyville. And, if things were to go completely crazy, it's awful hard to get it back then at that point to normal, And I'm really thankful. I have a lot to be thankful about that the system is this resilient. and actually is able to hold together as good as it has. Thank you guys for listening to my report. Like and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.